Evidence is growing that E&M banking offers a great deal of potential to extend financial services to people who haven't had them, formal financial services, and to also improve the quality and range of services. We need to acknowledge that with this potential comes some risks, but then we need to understand the risks and build our systems and our products accordingly so that we can ensure that customers are getting full value and are being well protected. So let's take a look at responsible finance issues such as transparency. When the customer is receiving their service through an agent and where technologies are involved that the customer is not familiar with. So in order to make sure that services are being delivered transparently there needs to be attention to how can we ensure that the agent is fully disclosing what information the customer needs to know, that no additional fees are being added that are perhaps unauthorized, that the customer is understanding the risks and use of the technology itself, and that some safeguards can be built in. For example, making sure that receipts are printed. Another important area where particular attention needs to be given as to how E&M banking customers will be able to make complaints when things go wrong and be sure that those complaints will be handled in a fair and respectful way. From a regulatory perspective, there are a couple of key issues that need to be considered especially carefully with E&M banking. The first is to make sure that the financial service provider remains liable for the behavior of their agent. The second principle is a matter of recourse, and it's quite important that through the whole chain, provider to agent and the material and signage and so on, make clear about how one can handle complaints and seek recourse. Looking ahead in E&M banking, there are two particular risks that I would highlight. One is the question of what happens as more and more diverse financial services begin to be delivered through E&M channels. So the issues around payment services are fairly straightforward. But when we think about agents being involved in some way in the delivery of credit service or insurance services, we have more concerns about potential incentives for overselling, for example, or steering customers to particular products that might yield higher commissions for the agents. A second area that concerns us is as particularly technology-assisted delivery is developing so rapidly, so is technology-assisted crime. So we do think it behooves regulators and the industry to be, again, quite proactive in looking at the risks from cybercrime. As E&M banking continues to innovate in its business models and services, it will be important to be paying attention to some of these emerging risks. And I'm confident they can be dealt with as long as they are being focused on.